Right. So IGC, International General Certificate, it has International General Certificate. So two papers are there. One is IG1 and the other one is IG2. IG1 is an open book examination, which is a new, kind of launch from NIBOSH because of this corona. Because people now cannot come to the examination centers because of the restrictions of COVID. So they have introduced this IG open book exam. Means you can write your exam by sitting in your home. The only thing that you need is laptop or internet connection and a battery backup. So in the open book examination, you will get a time of 24 hours, whereas the traditional classroom based examination, you used to get only 2 hours. But here you are getting 24 hours of time to submit your 100 marks paper. I guess you'll be appearing for the exam, which is on 6th of October, I guess. So we'll discuss about the examination pattern, paper, how many marks later in this video. So as I said, IG1, element 1, 2, 3, 4 means the examination that you will be having on 6th of October, the open book exam. This open book examination will be based on only the first 4 elements. Any question which will be asked in the OBE will be based on your 4 elements only. Nothing will be asked apart from these 4 topics. And while coming to IG2, IG2 is nothing but your practical assessment or risk assessment, where you have to do it at your site. So this element 5 to element 11 will help you in completing your risk assessment. You can complete your risk assessment. So those are the 2 papers, IG1 and IG2. While coming to the marks, IG1 theory paper, the total marks of the paper is 100, the passing mark is 45, duration of the exam is 24 hours. Question paper pattern is scenario based open book exam. So scenario based open book exam is nothing but there will be a case study given or a scenario given that you have joined an organization as a safety officer, you are the manager of an organization, these are the activities that will be happening in it. So they'll be giving a scenario in it.
Hello, we can't hear you.
Yeah, just give me a minute. So we'll discuss about the question paper pattern once I discuss about everything else. So the IG2 report is also to be submitted online. Even the IG1, the open book examination answer sheet should be submitted online. You will be getting a link where you have to log in and download your question paper and answer sheet, then fill it up. And within the given time frame, you have to upload it online in the platform, which is shared with you. So IG2 risk assessment, you will be getting approximately 1 week time to submit after your IG1 exam. Let us say you are registered for the 6th August exam, 6th October, sorry. 6th October exam. So exactly your examination will start on 6th October at 9 AM British Standard Time. So exactly 9 o'clock in the UK, the exam will start. So it means in India, it will start approximately at 1:30 PM Indian Standard Time. So based on the countries where you are staying, please compare it with the British Standard Time Zone, and you can check it. I think in Dubai it might start at 12 o'clock, because 1.5 hour fast, है ना? Dubai का time or Middle East
Sir,
time.
I have a question.
Yeah, who is this?
Shafiq.
Sorry, who is this? Shafiq.
Shafiq.
Yeah, Shafiq.
Yeah. Just only a confusion that the examination we have to write by hand, or we can make it on the printout by computer.
No, you need not print out anything, and you should not write, because writing answers or written answers are not accepted now. You'll be getting a word template. You'll be getting an answer template where you have to type your answers.
Okay, fine.
Okay. So you need not take a printout of it, or you need not write anything. There is directly a Word file. Download it, type it,
And do it on the
once your
computer
answer,
only.
yes, do it on the computer itself.
Okay. Yeah.
And once you think it is completed, cross-check it, review it, and then upload it directly. Okay.
Yeah, fine.
Hello.
Yeah, Parvez.
The scenario is given by the examination or examiner only, or
Yes.
we can, okay.
The question paper will be scenario based. So in the question paper itself, you will be having a scenario, and based on that, you will be asked some tasks or some questions which you have to do it.
So on the base of the scenario, we have to write down the answer within the Word templates.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, thank you.
Anyhow, we'll be having multiple mock examinations so that you will get a practice of it. Ek bar, once we complete the first 4 elements, I'll be going for a first mock examination. Okay. So you will understand how you have to read the scenario, or how to write the answers, how will be the answer template. I'll share that so that you can have a live kind of session for writing your answers. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So on 6th of October, the examination will start at 9 o'clock British Standard Time. So in India, the time zone difference is approximately, in India, it will start at 1:30 p.m. And you will get time of 24 hours. Means you will get time till 7th of October, 9 a.m. British Standard Time. So you'll be getting a time till 1:30 p.m. IST on 7th of August. Now, what our Indian mentality or Apna mentality is, generally human tendency, we never submit it before. We will think, 1:30 the time. We have time till 1:30. I'll submit it at 1:15, or I'll submit exactly at 1:25. Don't wait till the last moment. Why? Because let us say I am trying to upload. What is it? Imran, please connect to your audio. Your audio is not connected. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes,
sir.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
So what we generally do is, when I say 1:30, we only wait for the last moment. Means I'll upload at 1:15 or 1:25 or exactly at 1:29. So don't do such kind of things. At least make sure you submit 30 minutes before the deadline, so that in case, this is an online submission, sometimes the page might not load, sometimes there might be an error, sometimes the internet might go off, or sometimes your power cut might be there. There might be many unexpected events that could happen. So please make sure that you are submitting at least 45 minutes to 30 minutes before the deadline which is given for your good. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Some people might ask, sir, is it necessary that I need to continuously log in and I need to be online for 24 hours? No. If I am writing the exam at the exact 1:30 a.m., I can log in, I can download the question paper, I can download the answer sheet, I can log out and start typing my answers. And whenever I want to upload it, again, you can log in and upload it. So no need to continuously be online 24/7. You can take your time, take some breaks, have some food, take some drink, relax, right? One thing is for sure, enjoy your exam. Enjoy your exam. It will be very good for you. If you think it as a burden, then it will be a problem for you. When it will be a burden? When you don't understand the subject, when you have not prepared properly, or when you have not given your 100%, then definitely you will face issues. But if you know the subject, you understand it properly, you understood the scenario properly, then definitely you can enjoy your exams. Because 24 hours time was, it is more than enough. If you are, if you gave your 100%, your preparation was good, you can complete this examination within 5 to 6 hours. Properly agar dekha gaya, so you can complete this examination in 5 to 6 hours. But 24 hours time is more than enough to complete your examination. Okay, clear?
Yes.
Now, how this OBE is different from the traditional classroom-based examinations? In the classroom exam, in the classroom-based examination, there would have been 100 marks paper, and the time given was only 2 hours. And the time given was only 2 hours. So you have to do everything within the 2 hours itself. So you could not use any books, you could not use any references, you cannot, you cannot refer any videos or anything. So there was nothing. Just go, write it within 2 hours without any help, and give your answer sheet to the British Council members.
Can I share my experience?
Yeah, who is this?
Shafiq Adam.
Yeah, Shafiq, yeah, surely.
This is my second attempt actually. I've been
Okay.
in Abu Dhabi before, and in 2000, I think, 2000, I don't remember, 5 years, I think, 5 years back, I given the examination in Abu Dhabi.
Mhm.
There was 3 exam, IGC 1, IGC 2, and IGC 3. IGC 3 was the same, what is name, the risk assessment, and IGC 1, IGC 2, they was giving me 2 hours for each question, I think, for example. So there was camera, there was audio, and there was teacher that was checking everywhere. So it was
When
really
you
tough.
go into the
But now
washroom
I
also,
feel
they used
very,
to come behind you.
yeah. They was not allowing me to go to washroom even. No books, no question paper. Even they take out the watch, which was the iPhone watch. So very hard and very strict. But unfortunately, because of the malpractice case in the what is named on the institute, they fail all the students in that one. So IGC 3 is cleared, but IGC 1 and IGC 2 I missed. And when I see now it's the open books examination, I feel some confidence that, oh, okay, now this is the time we can come back again.
You wrote it in which year?
I don't remember, I think 5 years back, 2014 or 15, I think. I need to check back.
Yep, that is the case. So, 2 hours, invigilation, CCTV cameras, no question paper will be given to you once the exam is completed, no answer sheets, you are not supposed to speak with anybody else. So these are the restrictions. So definitely when you are, Corona has given you an advantage then. People who are, planning to get an IGC certificate, I think this is the best time for them to attempt the NIBOSH examinations, because open book exam, same 100 marks paper, but here you are getting 24 hours time. And the advantage is you can use references. Means you can use books to refer something and write your answer, but not copying and pasting. This is one important thing. When I'm saying references, means, for example, if you have read the scenario, you want to write an answer. In that case, you can at least refer some notes or something, and after referring, you can write your answer based on your scenario, but not directly copying and pasting it. You can refer books, videos, audios. Is it an advantage or not?
Yes.
Yes. So 24 hours, same 100 marks paper. You can use references, you can use books, videos, audios to take some references and amend your answers based on the scenario. So this is the best examination. And as Shafiq said, yes, earlier you used to have 3 papers, IG1 theory, IGC2 theory and GC3 practical, but only 2 papers now. 1 theory, 1 project. That too, 1 open book examination and 1 risk assessment. So to be frank with you, if the students are not able to pass this kind of examination, so there are very less chances if NIBOSH comes back to the traditional classroom based examination or venue based examinations, then the chances will be very less. Why? Because you won't get these benefits. So 100 marks paper, 24 hours time, you can refer books, videos, audios. This can be done. So definitely this is a benefit to all the learners who want to clear their IGC exam. Now let us discuss some conditions. Whenever there is a new thing introduced, there are certain terms and conditions. Now let us see what you can do and what you cannot do during your exam. Shall we start?
Yes.
Any questions before I start?
No, everything is clear. Please continue.
No.
First one, do's. What can we do? We can, as we discussed already, we can refer books, videos, audios, or any kind of text if you want to. Go for it. Internet, yeah, even one. Internet. You can refer books, videos, audios, any kind of texts, or even internet. Remember, referring means you can only go through it and write your answers based on the references you have taken, but never copy and paste it. Okay? This is one thing. Then you can take breaks. You need not be logging in continuously. You can just log in, download. Just make sure you have a battery backup so that your laptop doesn't get dead, or at least a USB or USB, so that if a power cut is there, at least you can back up your data. You can take breaks, you can have your lunch, dinner, you can have some time with family. Then you can contact your learning partner, means your learning partner, Gulf Academy of Safety, in case if there are any technical issues. Let us say you logged in, but you are unable to download the paper or you are unable to download the answer sheet. In that case, you can contact your learning partner on 85001414. So you can contact your institute in case if there are any technical difficulties. These things you are allowed to do. Now let us discuss about don'ts. Do's and don'ts. Don'ts are, you cannot contact your trainer or other learners. Means if I am writing the exam, or if Imran is writing the exam, Imran cannot contact Parvez, Ashok, Shafiq, Lakshman during their exam. You cannot contact your trainer or other learners during your exam with respect to any answers or questions. You should not copy and paste the answers, or you should not copy and paste any information directly from the resources that you use. For example, I referred ILO standards or I referred some website. So I cannot directly copy and paste the answer because that will come under collusion or malpractice. And what you are not supposed to do, you cannot take help from anybody else during your exam. Now you might ask, sir, what will happen, sir? How will the NIBOSH know that I have taken the help from somebody else or not? Because after your examination is completed, there is a closing interview. There is a closing interview, which is taken by one of the trainer or one of the authorized person from the Gulf Academy of Safety or directly from the NIBOSH person or from NIBOSH itself. Now, closing interview in the sense, let us say Imran has uploaded his paper. Once the paper has been submitted, after 4 days or after 5 days, you have to attempt your closing interview, in which you have to sit face to face with the interviewer. You need to show your ID proof. You need to show your room, and he'll be asking you some questions based on your examination. So definitely, if it is your own attempt, if you have given your 100%, you'll be able to answer it. If you have copied something from somebody, or if you have taken help from somebody else, definitely there is no possibility that you will be answering the questions in the interview. So one way or the other, you'll get caught. You in the sense, anybody who takes illegal help from others or directly copies and pastes matter from some websites or किसी भी तरह का illegal thing कर रहा है, definitely that will be scrutinized.
Sir, hello.
Because you take strict actions.
Hello.
Yeah.
Sir, closing interview. They'll ask the same thing what the question paper was there, right?
Yeah.
They'll ask something else.
No, they'll be asking the questions only based on your examination.
Okay.
Nothing else.
And
Only
so
based
for
on
an
your
example,
exam.
for an example, see, I have gone through, taken some information from the book. I have gone through some different, what do you call, some different resources, which is allowed in fact. So, it's not like nobody can tell exactly what they have written after 4 days. So will they go manage that?
That is why you have to, you have to focus on your examinations. That is the reason why we say, you make sure you know exactly what you wrote in the exam, or at least you'll be having your answer sheet and question paper with you, right?
That is also probably, in that sense, I could repeat whatever I have written to him, right?
So it depends on the questions, or he might ask you, you might ask you some questions based on your answers as well. So that is the reason why we say at least you until you complete your closing interview, we request all the learners to make sure they know what they have written, or at least they can go through the answers or question paper, what they have written until they complete their closing interview.
Okay, sir. Thank
and
you.
while you're sitting for the interview, you're not supposed to open the question paper or answer sheet. You shouldn't have anything in front of you during the interview.
How would they know, sir?
They'll check video here. They'll check your room as well. You need to show them. They'll verify your ID proof. They'll verify your room to ensure there is nothing in front of your desk, nothing in the room, no disturbance. They will check everything. For example, you are sitting. If I'll ask you, Imran, can you please rotate your mobile phone or laptop?
Okay.
Can you do that for me, please, now? Can you do that now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. So same way they'll check.
Okay.
Right. So that's how it goes. So closing interview is very simple. It will not take more than 15 to 20 minutes or maximum for half an hour. Introduction hoga. They'll explain you about some guidelines on how the interview will be. They'll verify your ID proof. They'll verify your room, and then they'll ask you some specific questions. That will hardly take 15 to 20 minutes. There is nothing to worry about closing interview if it is your own attempt. If it is your own attempt, there is nothing to worry. If you have taken help from somebody else, if you have did something which is not legal during your exam, then that might be a problem for anyone who has done that. Okay?
Just one question.
I have it all.
Yes. Name, please.
Yes. Name, please.
Mazen,
Yeah.
Yeah.
is the closing interview only for IGC 1?
Yeah, only IG1, yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Right.
Okay. The clothing interview will be for IG1.
Yeah, only
Not
for
IG2.
IG1, not IG2.
And after how many days they will conduct this interview?
Actually, let us say if your examination was 6th of October, I guess you will be receiving a link within 5 days to book your interview, because there will be a schedule, there will be a link which will be given to you. So based on that link, you can book your schedule, means you can book your slot for the interview. There will be specific time frames. So you can directly click on the link, whatever date you want to fix, whatever time you want to fix, you can log the time and submit it. Once booked, it cannot be changed. You'll be getting a link, don't worry about it.
Thank you.
Thank
Okay, right. So that is about do's and don'ts. And while coming to the examination, you know, there is a word count. There is a word count, means this 100 marks paper, NIBOSH word count, standard word count, what they suggest is 3000 words. 3000 words should be the total word count. And the NIBOSH has a tolerance of 10%. % tolerance है, मतलब NIBOSH says 3000 words should be there, but they have a tolerance of 10%, which is plus
3,300.
minus, plus or minus, मतलब a minimum of 2700 words and a maximum of
3,300.
300 words. This is the maximum and the minimum word count which is acceptable. Clear?
Yeah.
Right? So there is a word count 3000. Total for 100 marks, there will be a word count. Now, some people might ask, sir, there is a scenario based examiner, sir. How many questions will be there? There might be a doubt, right? How many questions might be there? So there is no particular fixed number. On the first examination, if as far as I remember, there were 8 questions they asked. On the second examination, they asked 7 questions, or they gave 7 tasks. In some, they have 9 tasks or 9 questions. So there is no fixed number that only these many questions will be there. They might ask any number of questions. 8 questions might be there, or 9 questions might be there, 7 questions might be there, whatever might be the number, that will be known only once the question paper is released. Clear?
Okay.
Yes?
Clear.
So,
Clear.
you might ask, sir, how many marks, for how many marks, how much I should write? There might be a simple question, right? So let us say, for 100 marks, the word count is 3000. So for 10 marks, how many words?
300.
300 words. For 5 marks, how many words?
150.
समझ में आया ना? मतलब based on the question. For example, if it is a 15 marks question, how many words? 450 words. If it is a 20 marks question, 600 words.
600.
समझ में आ रहा है ना? So you can divide by that marks. So 100 marks, 3000 words, or 10 marks, 300 words. Same way, if you are writing 3300 words, so in that case, for 10 marks, 330 words. So you can divide it based on the marks. And one more thing. If you remember, Shafiq, I hope you said it is your second attempt, right? Earlier
Yes,
you
sir.
wrote the classroom-based examination. If you remember, in the old, before 2019's pattern, you had some command words: define,
Yes, yes, yes.
describe,
Describe. Yes, correct.
explain,
Yeah.
brief. There were certain command words, right? So there was a doubt, means what should I write for define? What should I write for
Yeah.
describe?
5 words were there.
Right? How
Yeah.
much I should write for
Correct.
explain, brief. So there were command words in the old pattern, but now what happened? All these command words have been removed. There is no
Yeah.
confusion. all the command words have been completely removed. Now the questions will be what, how, when, why. These are the questions. Now, based on the marks, you have to give the depth. For example, if it is a 2-mark question, 2 valid points should be mentioned. If it is 10 marks question, 10 valid clear points should be mentioned. So there is no kind of headache of these command words: define, describe, explain, brief, list. Yes or no? All these have been removed. Now the questions are why, when, what, how, and based on the marks, you have to write or give the depth of the answer. Okay?
Okay.
Right? So that is how the exam will be, and these are the marks within which you have to write the exam. Now, how will you check the word count? I'll tell you in the later stages. Once we complete our first 4 elements, at least once you have your first mock exam, you will know how can you check the word count in the word file. Is it clear, or do you have any questions?
No.
Clear.
Clear.
Clear as of now.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
Clear for now.
I have, or you have a job to do once the class is completed today. I'll be sharing you a PDF file, which is nothing but open book examination learner's guide, means the student's guide. So once today's session is completed, I want you to go through that particular PDF file, which gives the complete guidelines about the open book examination. And still, if you have any questions, you can ask me in tomorrow's class, so that first of all, we'll complete those questions and then we'll start the content of our IGC. Okay?
And what about the practical? How practical examination?
Yeah, that's what I said. During practical, it will be discussed once we complete all the 11 elements. IG2 is a second paper. So for discussing about your risk assessment, first of all, you have to complete all the 11 elements. Once we complete all the 11 elements, I'll take a particular session on how to prepare your IG2 reports. There will be guidance given by NIBOSH. There will be a sample report given by NIBOSH. There will be an empty template also given by NIBOSH. So how to prepare the IG2 report, what are the general requirements, what is the guidance, we will discuss it once we complete all the 11 elements. Okay?
Okay.
Right? So don't worry, I'll complete A to Z of IGC, then only I'll leave you. Okay?
Yes.
Right. Shall we start?
Yes.
First element then.
Sure.
So your
Yes.
IG1 consists of how many chapters? All the chapters or only first 4 chapters?
IGC 1 4.
4.
Only first 4 elements.
First 4
So,
element.
for your IG1 open book examination, you have to only prepare first 4 elements.
Element.
That's it. Okay. Yes, 3 participants raised the hands: Sheikh Parvez, Ashok Kumar, and Amit Singh. Any question?
No, sir.
Yes, sir. I have a question. This is Amit Singh.
Yeah, Amit, boliye.
I have a question. I have a room, but we are sharing with 2 people. But company provide only 1 room, laptop, computer, everything is in my room. During the closing interview, can I use my vehicle and can I use my vehicle? Car.
You want to sit in the car and give your closing interview?
Yes.
चलेगा, अच्छा है ना, AC डाल के करो, मसला नहीं.
Because I am in Qatar and now duty is ongoing.
Yeah, you can give it anywhere, but make sure there is no disturbance. There is nobody available. No need of laptop. Even you can have your mobile phone to give your interview. Simple. Simplified kar diya hai. Corona has changed everything. Write your exam from your room. Give your interview from anywhere else. Simple. No problem. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Okay.
Any more questions, please?
No, sir, continue.
Right. So as today is the first day, we'll just cover the basic or the first part of IG1 element 1. And tomorrow's class, we'll slowly start increasing the pace of it. So in our first element is why we should manage workplace health and safety. So this is our first element. So let me ask you a question. Do you think health and safety is important?
Yes, it is.
Paka,
Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Important.
why do you think it is important? Why do you think health is important? Why do you think safety is important?
Because legally, economically, it's important.
Then only we can do work. And,
Morally.
Being healthy, we can work with safety. Safety is also very important. Both are equal. We have to maintain both health and safety. We have to maintain.
Yes.
In
Let us
simple
say you are driving a bike. You are driving a bike and you're not wearing a helmet. You are not following the traffic signals. So do you think there is safety?
No,
No.
No.
There is no safety, right?
no safety.
So what will happen if there is no safety?
We can meet with an accident.
Yes.
Due to that, property damage, injury to the person, or it may be fatality.
Yeah. Not only to yourself, but also to the opposite person as well, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Exactly. So health and safety are very important. We might not know, but we follow safety in our everyday life. While crossing a road, we follow safety. While driving a bike, we follow safety. While eating the food, we follow healthy. We eat only healthy food, right? We don't eat any contaminated food. So while we are charging something or while we are using any electrical equipment, we follow safety standards. Yes, health and safety both are important. Why? Because if there is no proper health and safety, there will be accidents, there will be deaths, there will be sickness, there will be ill health. Obviously, they are not good for the person or for the company. So before we discuss why health and safety is important, let us start discussing about some basic definitions, such as what is health, what is safety, and what are welfare facilities. Can anybody define what is safety? Yes.
Yes. Safety is the absence of any risk or hazard.
Yes.
Yes.
Safety is nothing but absence of risk. Where there is no risk, there is safety. Where there is risk, there is no safety. See, absence of risk of
That.
injuries or damages, that is nothing but safety. So absence of risk. Where there is no risk of injuries or damages, there is safety. Health. Absence of
Ill health.
ill health, or you can say absence of disease. Where there is no disease, there is health. Where there is disease, there is no health. What do you mean by welfare facilities?
Like drinking water stations, urinals, toilets, and
That is an example of welfare facility. I'm asking you, what are welfare facilities?
Well,
See, that is the reason why I say when you are writing the examination, the major point is you should understand the question properly. So if you don't understand the question, you might end up writing a wrong answer for it. So when I ask you about examples of welfare facilities, Mr. Lakshman, your answer is correct. You can say drinking water facilities, hand wash stations, sanitary conveniences, restrooms. But when I asked you what is welfare facility, then you have to define it. So there is a difference between what is welfare facility, what are the examples of welfare facilities. Welfare facilities are nothing but the facilities provided by whom? The worker or the employer?
Employer.
Provided by the employer for the well-being of the workers. Or the basic facilities. Basic facilities provided by the employer for the well-being of their workers. That is nothing but welfare facilities. Now you can tell me the example. Some of the welfare facilities provided by the employer are drinking water facilities, hand wash stations, sanitary convenience, restrooms. What else? Washing areas,
Sewage areas, washing areas.
canteen facilities, right? Drinking water, hand wash stations, sanitary convenience, restrooms, washing areas, canteen facilities, changing rooms where the workers can change into their work uniform, and locker facilities where the workers can keep their clothing safely. So drinking water, hand wash stations, sanitary convenience, restrooms, washing areas, canteen facilities, changing rooms, locker facilities, all these are called as welfare facilities. Now, should the employer charge some rupees or dollars from the workers, or they should be provided free of cost?
Free of cost.
Free of cost.
So all these facilities should be provided by the employer to their employees or workers free of cost without charging anything from the workers. Now, drinking water facilities. What kind of water should be provided? Neat and clean drinking water, or any kind of water? Yes. What kind of water should be provided?
And if it is hot, then you have to provide cold. And if it is cold, they have to provide little warm water.
Yes. So neat and clean drinking water. Imran Hussain, don't write anything. I want you to concentrate on the subject, because if you want to write it, okay, but make sure you are not deviating or you are not listening to the subject, because this video is recorded. I'll share the video link. So I want you to focus on the class first. When you want to prepare a notes, watch the video and then prepare the notes, but try to understand the subject first. ठीक है, क्योंकि ये वीडियो रिकॉर्ड होगा और वो लिंक आपको शेयर किया जाएगा. जो भी नोट्स बनाना है आप तब बना लीजिए, but mainly now concentrate here. Okay. So neat and clean drinking water should be provided. It should be clearly labeled. Means which one is for drinking and which one is for washing, and it should be readily available. Can an employer say to his employee's boss, no, water is done, no water, please go outside and drink? Can the employer say this to their workers?
No, sir.
So
No.
the water should be readily available for everybody who is working in the company. Now, how will you decide? For example, you are the owner of the company. Now, how will you decide how many liters of water is needed? कैसे बताओगे?
as per the consumption of individual or going through the overall for a week consumption.
Can you be a little bit louder? Whether it might be wrong answer, it doesn't matter. I want you to
As
just
per
open.
the individual 1 week consumption of for an example like 5 to 10 people going
Okay.
through the calculation how much they have consumed. In
Right.
that
So
sense they can go
depends on number of workers, right?
number of workers. Yes.
So if there are 100 workers, so based on 100 workers, you need to supply water. If there are 10 workers, based on the workers, you need to supply water. So based on the number of workers, okay, that is one point that I need to consider. For example, right, if I am only one person in my home, I only require 25 liters water can for a single day. But if there are 10 members, will that be enough?
No.
I might need to have multiple bottles. So that is one point. And what else?
Some in Qatar required for each every 25% one tap.
Okay, yeah, that's what number of workers based
Not
on the
enough,
number
sir.
of workers.
Yeah.
And now let us say, Imran, I am working in Jammu and Kashmir,
Okay.
and you are working in Gujarat. Who will require more amount of water?
The
course,
one
Gujarat.
it's me. Gujarat.
Obviously,
Gujarat.
people who are working in Gujarat require more water, right?
Yes.
Why? Because
So in that
the
sense,
climatic
depending on the
condition, it is
climate,
very hot.
yeah,
But whereas in Jammu and Kashmir,
it's
the climate is cold, right? So what? Depending on the climatic conditions. In summer, we drink more water. In winter season, we might require only less amount of water. That is one more point. And nature of work. Now let us say, Mr. Shafiq.
Yeah.
You are working in a software company. You are working under a AC. Now I am working in a construction site outside. Who will require more water?
The person who is working on the construction site.
Right? The person who is working on the outside in the construction site, he will require more amount of water. But whereas you are sitting under an AC, you might require only less amount of water. So even the nature of work will decide how much amount of water is required for drinking. So if there are two taps available, if it is for drinking, clearly label it. That is for drinking and this is for washing. So those are the general requirements of drinking water. Hand wash stations near the toilets, at least there should be a hand wash station, and wherever there is a contamination, there should be hand wash. And apart from that, if needed, shower facility should also be there. So that the contamination is for the whole body, at least they can take a bath to wash off the contaminant. Sanitary convenience, toilets should be available for both men and women. They should also be clearly labeled. Clearly labeled. This is for men, this is for women. He, she, whatever it might be, that should be clearly labeled, and they should be in sufficient quantities based on the number of people. Sufficient quantity should be there. And if there are old workers, or if there are pregnant women, or if there are differently abled people, then based on that, Indian commodes or Western commode should be there. And they should also be clearly labeled, which one is a Indian one and which one is a Western one. Hota hai na? When you go to airport, you can see there are toilets which are clearly labeled, men, women. It is also mentioned Indian toilet, Western toilet. Why? Because if there are pregnant women, they cannot sit down. Or if there are old people, they cannot sit down. Or if there are any disabled workers, they cannot sit down. So in that case, for them also, you need to have these facilities. Restrooms, where the workers can take some rest if they are feeling dizzy or fatigued or exhausted. Washing areas, if they have to wash their contaminated clothing or contaminated washing area should be there. Canteen facilities means it is not mandatory that companies should provide free food to everyone. At least there should be a room where there are sufficient number of tables and chairs where the workers can comfortably sit and have their food. As a minimum requirement, tables and chairs so that the workers can comfortably sit and eat. In some companies, they provide free food. Some companies, they will provide the food, but they charge something which is very low from the market price. That is the company's requirement. As a minimum requirement, tables and chairs should be provided where the workers can comfortably sit and eat their food. Changing rooms, dress changing rooms, where the workers might come in civil, casual clothing, and once coming inside, they might change into the work uniform. In that case, changing room should be there, and they should be separate from men and women. And it should also be clearly labeled. Locker facilities, so that the workers can keep their clothing separately. Dirty clothing should be locked separately, and clean and neat clothing should be locked separately. All these are the welfare facilities that need to be provided by the employer. Okay, clear? Yes. No?
Clear.
Right. So before we go in depth with other topics, so employer is nothing but the owner of the organization, or sometimes the organization itself, or the CEO or the managing director. He is referred to be as an employer here. Employee is a person who is working for the company. He might be a manager, he might be a supervisor, he might be a team leader, worker. Everybody is called as employee. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Right. Now let us discuss health, absence of disease or ill health. Safety, absence of risk of injuries and damages. Welfare facilities are those that are necessary for the well-being of your employees, such as washing areas, toilets, restrooms, changing facilities, and somewhere clean to eat and drink during breaks. All these are the facilities provided by the employer. Right? So now let us discuss reasons for implementing and maintaining and then safety. We started the session with the same question. Reasons why health and safety is important. Now, as we already discussed now, if there is no proper health and safety, what will happen? Accidents will happen, right? Yes?
Yes.
So my question, are accidents good for the company or bad for the company?
Bad for the company.
Definitely,
Bad for the
accidents are
company.
not at all good for the company.
Yes,
If
bad for the-
accidents happen, what will be the result? So if accidents happen, there will be death, or there will be injuries, or there will be property damages. Will the reputation increase or reputation goes down?
It goes down.
Reputation goes down.
Reputation goes down. Workers will be happy or workers will be not satisfied?
Unhappy.
Unhappy.
Loss of morale of the workers. Will there be any legal action if an accident happens?
Yes, it can.
Yes,
Yes, of course.
there will be legal action where we might end up paying fines, or we might end up paying compensation to the injured person, right? There will be lawyers' fees. There will be repairs,
Imprisonment.
right? So all these are the losses that are created because of accidents. And why accidents are happening? Because there is no proper health
Health and
safety. So anywhere, if an accident happens, it only brings losses. Kaisa hua kya? Has anything happened like that? When accident happened, it brought us a good fortune. Kabhi hua?
Sometime in India,
No,
when
no,
they
no,
are
no.
claiming the insurance.
In that case, that is not an accident.
Yeah.
If wantedly you do something and say, "Arey, sorry boss, wo galti se chaku chubh gaya aapko." Do you think that is an accident?
No.
You are carrying a knife with an intention of killing somebody. You stabbed him continuously and said, "Boss, accidentally I did it." Can it be called as an accident?
No, no, no.
No, sir.
Yeah. In some cases, if you see, somebody said just now, insurance purpose, right? Yeah. But you know, when an accident happens, when you go for an insurance claim, do you think you will get 100% insurance?
No.
No. But still there
No.
is a loss, hai na? You might get an insurance. So that will not be a benefit. You will get an insurance. Let us say if you are insured for 7 lakhs or 10 lakhs, an accident happens. In that case, the whole insurance amount will not be provided to you. There are certain terms and conditions. So deduction hota hai, wo hoke kitna aata hai pata nahi. So definitely accidents never bring any good fortune. They always bring losses. So to prevent all these losses, I need to prevent accidents. So to prevent accidents, what I should have? I should have health
and safety.
and safety.
Safety.
Now, all these losses, what we have discussed now, these are divided into 3 main groups: moral reasons, legal reasons, and financial reasons. Right? So when somebody asks you, or when in an exam, if it is asked, what are the reasons for implementing and maintaining health and safety? There are 3 main reasons: moral reasons, legal reasons, and the financial reasons. Now, can anybody tell me why generally people go to job? To kill themselves, to injure themselves? Why do they go to job?
To make money.
Earn money.
Right? Anybody needs a job because they want to earn some money so that they can feed their family. Yes?
Yes, sir.
You know, because of workplace accidents, first we'll discuss about moral reasons, then we'll discuss about legal reasons, and then we'll discuss about financial reasons. You know, as per the statistics, you know, how many workers are killed every day? Any idea? Sorry. How many
More than
workers
2 lakhs.
are killed every year because of workplace accidents?
More than 20 lakhs.
More than 20?
20 lakhs.
You know, every year, 27 lakh workers die
Across the world.
because of workplace accidents. So think 27 lakh people are dying. So how many major injuries might be, whether higher or lower?
It may be higher.
Double डालेंगे, let us say. Deaths are 27 lakhs means major injuries might be double. Let us say 54 lakhs. 54 lakh major injury accidents are happening. So if major injury accidents are 54 lakhs, how many minor injuries might be there?
Go up to like 74.
Or a double or triple?
More than
1 crore.
More than 1 crore. So let us more than 1 crore minor injury accidents. So how many first aid injury accidents might be there?
That could go even.
uncountable.
1.5 crores?
Uncountable.
Uncountable, right? So how many ill health might be there? That might also be more than that. Back pain because of doing manual handling activities, asthma, or because breathing issues, or fever, or that might also be more. So kitna ho raha hai if you if you calculate it, it is going, very higher ratio, more. Major injuries, minor injuries, first aid injuries, ill health, and deaths. Do you think they are acceptable?
Not acceptable.
Not acceptable, right?
Not acceptable.
Why does a person go to a job? So that he can get some money and feed his family. But at what cost? Can he sacrifice
Mr.
himself?
Suleiman asked the question, what is the meaning of lakh? I think it's 10, 100,000.
What is the?
Here for Mr. Suleiman, he asked for the question, what is the meaning of lakh? Because I think in Gulf, they don't know how to pronounce.
Okay. If you want to know, 27 lakh is nothing but 2.7 million. 2.7 million. 1 million is equal to 1 lakh. So 2.7 million in the sense 27 lakh workers are killed because of workplace.
1 million is equal to 10 lakh.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. 1 million is equal to 10 lakhs. 1 million is 10 lakhs.
100,000.
Yeah.
You can say 100,000.
27 lakh workers are getting killed. So what do you say? चलता है. Population थोड़ा कम हो रहा है. बोल सकते हैं क्या?
I know.
Definitely not, right? So, it is the moral responsibility. It is the moral responsibility of the employer to take care about their workers'
Safety.
health and safety. So every employer has a duty of care towards their workers. Duty of care in the sense, every employer has the duty to take care about their workers' health and safety. So that reason is called as moral reasons. Means why health and safety should be implemented? So that injuries, ill health, and prevented. Who is this? From where there is a noise? Right.
Muhammad Abu Bakr.
Yeah. So the main purpose of the moral reason is, if there is no safety, people will get killed, people will get injured, people can get sickness. So to avoid sickness, injuries, and any kind of deaths, safety should be implemented. Those reasons are called as moral reasons. Got it?
Yes, sir.
Let us see. Every year, many workers are getting killed or injured or even made sick because of their work. So this is completely unacceptable. We want workers to be safe. So every employer should take care of their workers' health and safety. Why? Because if there is safety, we can prevent accidents. If we prevent accidents, we can prevent injuries, ill health, and deaths. So that is called as the moral
reasons.
Got it?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Shafiq?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So the next one is legal reason. Legal reason is nothing but the government has, or let us say, if Parvez or Ashok or Shafiq, if you want to start a company or you started a company, do you think you have to follow all the health and safety laws?
Yes.
We have a set of rules. We have a set of particular rules for everything.
You have to follow, right? If I'm in India, I have to follow Indian standards. If I'm in Dubai, I have to follow Dubai standards. If I'm in Qatar standards, US standards, right? So every employer has the legal responsibility. Means the law places some responsibilities or gives some obligations or gives some regulations to all the companies and the workers. So every company should follow those rules and responsibilities, or those obligations placed on them.
Laws of the land.
Yeah, law of the land. Now let us say, as per the traffic rules, every commuter or every person who is driving a bike or a car, he has some legal responsibilities, such as he has to wear a helmet, he has to wear a seat belt, he has to follow the signals, and he should not be overspeeding, right? These are the legal responsibilities.
Yes, sir.
Now let us say you are not wearing a helmet, or you are not wearing a seat belt, you are overspeeding, or you are talking over a mobile phone. What will happen?
We met an accident, sir.
What will happen? Accident will happen. What the law will take an action?
Police will
Compensation.
They will find challan.
And you might end up paying fines to the government, right? So same way, every company has also the legal responsibility. Means every company should follow some laws that are placed upon them. So the law places, okay, let us, legal reasons are nothing but related to the governance. Governance is nothing but following certain laws and regulations. So legal reasons are to avoid any fines or compensation. I'll ask you a small question. You give me the answer. Now let us say you are purchasing a bike with your hard-earned money. So you have worked 2 years or 3 years and you have accumulated some money and you have purchased a bike. Now it is your money and the bike is on your name, and it is also registered on your name itself. Now when you are driving a bike without a helmet, the traffic constable is stopping you and he is issuing a fine. Can you ask the constable, why are you stopping my bike?
No.
No.
It is your bike, no? It is your money. Why can't you ask?
We are breaking the law.
Why do you think I am breaking the law? Because it is my bike, very mercy bike. I will drive whatever way I want. Why are you stopping me? Can you ask this?
We have to go through the set of the rules of the country.
Because
Why?
we are not
Because-
following that. We are not following traffic rules, sir.
You know, by not following the traffic rules, I might keep myself in risk as well as others'
Another one.
life in risk. So by default, when I purchase a bike, all the traffic rules are applicable to me. Do you agree with this?
Yes.
Same way,
Yes.
if I am starting a restaurant, all the food safety rules applicable to me. Same way,
Yes.
if I am starting a construction company, all the construction laws are applicable to me. Do you agree with this?
Yeah.
Yes,
That is
sir.
the reason why every company should follow all the laws with respect to that particular area. So if you are not following the laws, what will happen? You will end up paying fines, or
Any
you will have to pay
compensation.
compensation to the victims. That is a legal reason. Now let us say, what are the legal responsibilities? You know, the law places some legal responsibilities on the employer. What are the legal responsibilities that the employer has to follow? First of all, the employer should provide safe workplace.
Paper, please.
The workplace should be safe for all the workers who are working in the organization. Then provide safe plant and equipment. Means whatever tools, machinery and equipment he is providing, that should be safe
Safe.
for the workers.
Yep.
Next, provide safe systems of work. So for a basic understanding, SSOW or safe systems of working is nothing but safe working methods. Okay, so the employer should provide safe working methods to all their workers. That is also the legal responsibility placed on the employer. Next, provide training, instructions, and competency of staff. So providing training is also a legal responsibility. Providing instructions is also a legal responsibility. And hiring competent staff or improving competency is also responsibility of the employer. Competency is nothing but, I'll give you an example. Now let us say, Mr. Imran,
Yes, sir.
you want to hire a driver. Okay.
Okay.
There are two drivers, driver 1 and driver 2. One driver has a driving license. He has previous experience.
Mhm.
He has knowledge about driving. This is one driver. Another driver is, there is no driving license. There is no experience, or he doesn't know, he doesn't have any knowledge about driving. Whom will you hire, driver 1 or driver 2?
Driver 1.
Obviously, you will have a driver who has a driving license, experience, knowledge, and ability to drive. So this driver 1 is competent driver. Driver 1 is a competent driver. Driver 2 is incompetent driver. Means he is not fit for the job. Now you tell me, should you hire competent workers or incompetent workers?
The one who is
Competent workers.
Right? Obviously, you have to hire competent workers. Now, who are competent workers? Who have Kate.
Kate.
Kate मतलब Kate Winslet नहीं है.
Okay.
Who
Knowledge,
has knowledge,
ability,
ability, training.
Experience.
Means any worker who has knowledge, ability, training, and experience, he is competent. You can hire him. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So these are the legal responsibilities placed on the employer. Now let us say the employer has not provided safe workplace. What will happen? He is breaking the law, right?
Yeah.
If somebody breaks the law, what will happen?
They will end up fines and
A legal action will be taken against them, where they have to end up paying fines, or they might end up in jail. हो सकता है ना, for example, you are not wearing a helmet. First time they caught you, issued a fine. Second time also you did the same mistake. Third time also you did the same mistake. If you are repeatedly doing the same thing, what will happen? This time they'll seize your bike. They will put behind the bars. Yes?
Yes.
Same way, fines हो सकते हैं. Their trade license might get cancelled, or the person behind this particular breaking of law might be put behind the bars. So if there is no proper health and safety, accidents will happen, because of there will be a legal action which will end up in paying fines, compensation, or imprisonment. So to avoid any fine, I need to have safety. To avoid any imprisonment, I need to have safety. To avoid any compensation, I have to have safety. है कि नहीं? Right? So that is the
Yes.
legal reason. Got it? So to avoid any legal action, I need to have health and safety. Next, financial reason. Any reason which is related to money or which is related to cost. Finance is nothing but money. Money is finance, finance is money. Now you tell me, accidents will lead to loss of money or any profit?
Loss of money.
Loss of money, right? So it is a fact. It is a fact that if accident happens, money is lost. Does everybody agree with this point?
Yes.
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 Now, when accidents happen, there are various costs. Various costs that arise as a result of the accident. These costs can be direct cost or indirect cost. So now let us discuss about what is a direct cost or what is an indirect cost. Simple difference is direct costs are measurable costs. Means we can measure it in terms of money. Measurable costs, which you can measure in terms of money, whether it might be rupees, dollars, or pounds, dirhams, dinars, measurable. You can measure it in terms of money. Whereas indirect costs are
unmeasured.
Non-measurable cost. Means you cannot measure it in terms of money. Now let us see what are the direct costs. Fines and compensation. Can you measure it or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Whatever might be the fine, the government will tell you to pay. 5 lakhs to the 5 lakhs, 10 lakhs to the 10 lakhs. Compensation also, the court will tell, pay 10 lakhs compensation to your work. You can measure it, right? So it is a direct cost. Accident investigation cost. If somebody is investigating an accident or government agency is investigating an accident, do they investigate for free of cost?
No.
No, they will
They
charge.
have to pay some amount, right? So whatever might be the fees, they have to pay. The fees measurable or not?
Measurable.
Medical cost measurable or not?
Yes.
Whatever might be the bill, it will be an amount, you can pay it. Insurance premium, what you have to pay to the insurance company, that is also measurable cost. Other legal costs, such as lawyers fees, documentation cost, printing cost, hota hai na? Is it measurable or
Yes.
not?
Yes, measurable.
Measurable cost.
Hello.
And what else? Repairs to damages. Measurable costs.
Yes, measurable.
All these are measurable costs. Direct costs are measurable costs. Indirect cost, non-measurable cost. Reputation damage, can you measure it in terms of money?
No.
Loss of goodwill, can you measure in terms of money?
No, sir.
Loss
No.
of workers' moral, can you measure in terms of money?
No. sir.
Loss of time
No.
in recruiting and training workers, can you measure in terms of money?
No. No, sir.
Loss of future projects, can you estimate the future projects?
No.
All these are indirect costs, means which you cannot measure in terms of money, those are called as indirect costs. Which you can measure in terms of money, those are called as direct costs. So any cost that is related to money, direct, non-measurable, indirect. So to prevent any monetary losses, we need to have health and safety. That reason is called as financial reason. Moral reason, to prevent a death, injury and ill health. Legal reason, to prevent any legal action. Financial reason, to prevent any monetary losses. So these are all the three main reasons why health and safety is important. Clear or any question?
No, sir.
Paka? Right. Yes, everyone, please.
Yes,
Yes,
yes.
yes.
Yes, sir.
Clear.
Sir, clear.
Right. So let us see once again. See, direct cost, measurable cost arising directly from the accident. Indirect costs, which are arising indirectly as a result of the accident, or which are definitely non-quantifiable or measurable. Difficult to quantify or difficult to measure. Those are all the financial reasons. Direct cost, indirect cost. Insurance claims, sick pay, yeah, even again. Sick pay, injured worker's salary. If a worker is injured, you have to pay the salary. His salary is also a direct cost. If you are replacing a worker, you have to pay his salary. That is a direct cost. Why? Because you can measure it. For example, 30,000 pay karna, 30,000 measurable. Repairs to damages, product loss, lost production, damage to equipment, buildings, legal costs, training costs, and fines and compensation. All these comes under direct costs. Loss of reputation, loss of moral, difficulties in recruiting, loss of time in hiring new staff and training them, damage to public relations, all these comes under indirect costs. Now in these costs, there are other types of costs as well. One is insured cost and the other one is uninsured cost. Can anybody define this? Any idea? Insured and uninsured matlab kya hai?
Insurance.
Yes, means insured cost which you can claim from the insurance company, that is called as an insured cost, which you cannot claim from the insurance company is called uninsured cost. Clear? Now, in insured cost, you can medical cost can be insured, right? Because if you are having health insurance, what will happen? Any treatment or any cost can be insured, or equipments can be insured. Equipments can be insured, or any damage to the product can be insured. That too, if you are insured, if you have done the insurance for the company, you can get it insured. So these costs are insured costs. Uninsured costs. Sick pay, salary of the injured person. Can you claim it from the insurance company?
No, sir.
No.
No.
Loss of time. Can you claim it from the insurance company?
No.
No, sir.
Loss of moral. Can you claim it?
No, sir.
Right? You cannot claim it. Loss of goodwill?
No.
You cannot. So all the indirect costs are uninsured costs. You can see it here. Damage to plant, building equipment, compensation paid to the workers, medical costs, all these are insured costs. Uninsured costs, lost time, sick pay, insurance premiums, damage to raw product, materials, plant, overtime kiya, wo bhi uninsured hai. Production delays.
Is there any
uninsured.
indirect cost that can be claimed from the insurance company?
No,
Nothing, huh? Oh.
nothing. All the indirect costs are uninsured costs. Why? Because you cannot quantify in terms of money rate. For example,
But
fines.
there are some direct costs which can
Which
be
you can
insured
claim,
and which
yes.
cannot be insured.
Yes, yes, definitely. For example, if you see this fines, fine is a direct cost. Why? Because you can measure it. 10,000 rupees challan, that is a fine. But can you claim it from the insurance company? You cannot claim it. Yes, some direct costs are insured, but all the indirect costs are uninsured costs, right? So those are the direct costs and indirect costs to the company, right? So these are the reasons for implementing and maintaining good standards of health and safety. I hope it is clear.
Clear.
Right.
Clear.
So for today, we'll stop it here for day 1. And tomorrow we'll continue with the remaining topics.
Okay,
Yeah.
sir. Okay.
I have a
Okay.
question, please.
Yeah, who is this?
I'm Balen.
Who is this?
Balen Suleiman. Balen Suleiman.
Yeah, Balen Suleiman, yes.
Yeah. Please, do you send these slides to us as a hard copy, because you didn't, as you mentioned before, we didn't write down any notes.
Yeah, no, we cannot share the slides, but I can share you the video. This video is getting recorded. So
Oh.
this recording will be shared in the channel so that we can. I hope everybody has joined the Telegram channel.
Yeah, fine.
Yes,
No,
sir.
no,
Yeah.
sir, no, sir. I did
No?
not join.
Who has not joined?
I am Ali Khan Durrani.
Myself,
Okay.
Manoj Kumar, I have not joined the Telegram.
Even I, Abu Bakar.
Hi,
So
sir.
this
This is
side
Kamran
Kamlesh
Khan.
Verma.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
just
joined
give-
Telegram channel.
yeah. Just give me a minute. I'll share the link here.
One more thing, actually, I downloaded Telegram, but how I can get all these things on that?
That's what I am sharing the channel link to you now. So once you click that link, you will be joining the channel itself. Then you will get all the videos or all the communication through this.
We can communicate on that.
No, you cannot
Or we can
communicate
get only
it.
the information.
Yeah, you can only get the information.
Oh.
Give me a minute. I'll share the link. Please check your chat message in the Zoom.
Yeah.
Did you receive the link?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Click that link. You will join the channel. So I'll share the open book exam learner's guide as well as today's video link in the channel. Go through it. Any questions you can ask me. And I want everyone to mark present in the chat. Everybody mark present in the chat so that I can later on put it in the attendance sheet, because attendance is also mandatory for every one of you. Stop the meeting.